What is up? The Griswold Method, episode 11. And over the next 3 to 4 episodes, you're going to hear about the gene test that I've been running and the fecal test and the pee test and all the testing that I've been really diving into. But what I wanted to do first was I wanted to quickly just kind of let you know, why in the hell am I shooting podcast and what am I doing? What is all this social media stuff and why are we posting consistently and all that fun jazz? Hey, so here's what I'm doing. I currently have private coaching clients. What I do for them is they're usually in the health and wellness space. They're service industry providers, physical therapists, all different types, chiropractors. Right now, I'm seeing a couple chiropractors and a couple physical therapists. We have private coaching calls. We jump on the call. But what's important is that we just design their practices around what they want, what their lives want, and we just make them be better humans. I feel like if you are a healthcare provider and you are in a service industry, at the end of the day, it's being the best you. It's not being that good at your craft, unfortunately for you, is not enough. It's being the best you, which creates you to be the best at your craft, which allows you to serve more, make more, do all the things. And so in ending with that, I really want to tell you why we've moved and are having the conversation about the Griswold method is because that's what I do. I literally jump on the phone. We set aside times. I'm texting all day long with clients about what should they do in their practices, where's their headspace, where's their heart space, and then we put procedures together to achieve their goals. And I'm happy to say I got a couple guys that have doubled already in their practice, which I'm pumped about. Got another one that's opened up another location. If that's something you're interested in, hit me up. Let's chat. Let's book a call. Let's see what the story is. But in the overall reason that I'm doing this is because if you're catching this information, I'm trying to make you be better you instead of just coaching with me or working with me if you're a healthcare provider. If you are a human, this stuff is still applicable to you. If you are a mom, if you are whatever you are, if you're a firefighter, a police officer, if you're my media guy, this stuff is good for you because you are human and we want you to understand how you can operate and function at the best. What I know for a fact is you get one go round and I want to do it the best I can, especially as I'm creeping up on that 40. I'm there already. Especially as I'm 40 years old and I want to be able to maintain high level, be able to maintain the practice. We see a lot of people. I wrestle a lot of people for a living. We do a lot of calls. I'm busy, and I bet you are too, but I'm just going to share over the next year what I'm doing to help me maintain this current level of performance. What am I doing that helps me see the people? What am I doing that helps me stay healthy and be able to keep thriving as we are all entrepreneurs and don't have time to be getting sick, getting put down, getting run down? We need to know, and I'm into the data, so let's jump into the data. And so what I wanted to discuss was the last episode 10 was the compilation of a 10-month build-up for me that I've been hush-hush about, which is about genetic testing and what we're doing with the genetic testing and the pee and the poo testing, what information I'm finding. And so today I'm going to peel back the curtain and let you know what's wrong with me. Yes, I said it. We're going to talk about what's going on inside my genes. I know that you may not care exactly what's going on in me, more so what's going on in you, but I want to show you what this test and why I'm bringing it into the clinic, why no matter where you are, if you can hear my voice and you can click on a link, you can actually get this test and we can do this together. I want to show you why. I want to show you the science behind what we're doing and why what we're doing. And the best part is that we're able to leverage that evil thing that you may have heard of called AI. I'm going to tell you, it's not all that bad, right? We're using it to be able to comb research and compilate research, stack it all in together, make it nice and pretty. And then we can tell you exactly what supplements that you need based on what genes you're expressing. We can tell you exactly which supplements you need based on what's in your urine and what's in the poo. We can tell you exactly where you're messing up versus a shotgun approach, which that means that you have multiple drawers of vitamins and you keep buying more vitamins and they just keep showing up and Amazon keeps getting bigger and better and all the things. But what I'm saying is like, let's pick the ones we know. I want to be a sniper about my vitamins. I just don't want to take the shotgun approach. So let's jump in. And I want to show you what I was just kind of researching before the podcast even started. I was breaking into my own information. And so, I think I might have gotten out of it. I'm going to jump right back in. Okay, so here we go. Once we get your mouth swab, this is the gene test, and that's all I have time for today. But I'm going to show you kind of what we get from the overall structures and what you will find out when we do this, okay? You'll see the link in below. Click it. We jump on the phone. I'll send you a video that tells you exactly what I'm seeing, and then we jump on the phone to discuss your vitamin protocols. Look, use this company. Don't use the company vitamins. Order them off Amazon if you want. This is not about me making money. It's about if you are a follower of mine, I want you to be a better human. This is a way you can do that. So what it's going to do is the mouth swab is going to give us our gene test. And we're going to be able to look at the endocrine system, the gastrointestinal, detoxification, methylating, right? Structural, anti-aging, cognition, and inflammation. You can see that I have greens, which means I'm doing pretty good in some spots, or the genes are good for those in some spots. You see I have yellows in certain areas as well, okay? I am, just like you are, a mutt of genetic code. My grandmother was Okinawan and she's Japanese, this tall, little small lady. She's now gone. My dad was a huge guy. There was somebody that was in our family that was adopted, so we don't know where that goes. And so I'm sure you are one of those people. You're a mutt. And that's okay because that's America, right? That's what I believe anyways. And so knowing that I have all those things that I don't need to express all of them, I wanted to know exactly which ones I'm expressing. Am I expressing some from the Japanese side? Am I expressing some from the German side? Some Native American? This is the test to find that stuff out. So I'm going to jump in. In the endocrine system, I'm not going to go into right now because I want you to see the science behind it. The endocrine system here, it just notes that I'm doing okay with my endocrine system and where I am. But I'm going to jump right into gastrointestinal. Okay, this is just a gastrointestinal test they did by taking my mouth swab. This gives no information whatsoever about the actual gastrointestinal tract. It just says that I have these genes, and because I have these genes, I would be predisposed for certain things. Important to me, my father passed away of liver cancer, came from the colon. Okay, here we go. So as we look down in, you can see that I have you can see that I definitely have some issues. It says my efficiency is 64%. I'm borderline. So that means that needs support. It doesn't mean that I have to throw a bunch of vitamins on it. So when you saw the greens, that means that I should be working functional and normal unless the other tests tell us otherwise. This just says, hey, I have these genes and I may want to supplement for them in this way. So here we go. We're going to look at it. We're going to go gut serotonin activity. This literally specifically crawls the human genome, your genome, and picks up on the data exactly which genes you're expressing and tells us where you are with that. I'm going to skip past it here to a couple other ones that I thought was really interesting because this is a fact for me. Candida carriage. I actually have a gene that says that I am predisposed for candida overgrowth, yeast overgrowth. Well, you know what? It's a fact. I knew for a fact my practice is across from two fantastic breweries here in Tulsa, and I can't go over there and have a wheat beer without my gut hurting for days. And I thought it was a gluten thing, and honestly, what I would feel is just bubbly and gross. Those Boulevard wheats, you see the unfiltered stuff. It's a fact. And so when I got the test, I knew that about myself already, but when I got the test, now here's the reason why. Is I actually don't have a gene that monetizes that and breaks it down. I say monetize it, enzymatic, and doesn't break it down and make it go away. So I actually will just develop more yeast in my gut. Ladies, you get where that can lead to. Men, it causes us to have that distended belly. So have you ever had that big wheat beer and all of a sudden it's like, oh my gosh, you should pop me like a balloon. It's the making wine, yeast, and beer in your gut. If you don't have the gene that helps metabolize that, it stays there, makes it bigger. How cool is that information for you if you knew? Here's one of my favorite ones is right here in the GI as I have a low risk for gluten sensitivity. Hey, yo, that makes a lot of sense because when I would go to Europe or anywhere else in the world besides the United States, I could eat whatever the heck I wanted. Why is that? That's confusing. They still use gluten there. It's because I actually am a non-methylator. Catch episode 10, we talk about that. But I'm a non-methylator of B vitamins. But this allows me to say, hey, guess what? I can eat gluten and I'm probably not going to pay too bad of dividends. Is that not terrific news? It was for me. I mean, it probably saved me money at the restaurants. It was definitely for me. So here's how this works. It's really neat is that we get the whole genome. You can see each one, the darker colors give us oranges and yellows. So let's look at why this is important and why I chose this company over all others, and I vetted some. The important thing to note here is that according to what my gene distribution is, what my genes are, SNPs are, the polymorphisms, the problems, the clips in the DNA, there are approximately 337 studies in the research that say that this exact formula of Canna Omegas, which is a hemp omega-3, is a 1-to-1 ratio of EPA and DHA, that is actually a better way for my body to absorb the omega through my cannabinoid system, not through just a regular oral system. Hello? In other words, that's not just I think you should take it. There are 337 pieces of literature that say that this, if you have these genes, take this. That's why I love these. That's why I love this oil of oregano. This is an all-natural product that actually closes the gap junction because I have a serotonin decrease. I don't make as much serotonin as most people in my gut. That's probably why I have to caffeinate so much, because you guys are happy from your bellies. I have to add caffeine. I don't know if that's factual, but the truth is that oil of oregano closes the gap junctions in my stomach so it can stop me from potentially having leaky gut. If my father wouldn't have had leaky gut, do you think it gets to the colon, from the colon to the liver? Hey, put it together. Put the science together there. And for that one, the 325 research studies. So what we're doing is I'm not just guessing when we're putting, and you can take any other vitamin you want. If it has these ingredients, go for it. Once again, how am I detoxing? All of these detoxification snippets or gene mutations, and it tells me how I'm breaking them down and what I'm breaking them down into. And then it also gives me the research on that one. Has 957 different pieces of research literature that I should be taking that vitamin based on the genes that I have. This was my favorite to learn about, though. Cognition. My job as a chiropractor and your job as a human is to work with your brain. My job is that most of my medicine, per se, is my hands and my knowledge and looking at an x-ray, right? That's pretty much what I do. I have to use my brain. That's my medicine on most cases, right? What's interesting is that there are gene tests that can find out whether or not you have lingering thoughts. Guess who has those big time? Right here. So this one right here, catecholamine support. I actually have a gene, cognitive imperative risk. My grandmother had dementia terribly and Alzheimer's terribly. I have those genes, and we know that I have those genes, and I have 8 of them. I got to do some things to make sure that I'm not getting the stuff that I know that the people before me have had before. But the catecholamine support is really interesting because we've been taking supplements before I brought this podcast on. What's interesting to note there is even when I go into next week, we talk about the urine test. There were catecholamines in my urine, which means the fight or flight hormones were still relatively in my urine, which means I'm overproducing and I'm not balancing them out. I.e., I have thoughts racing through my head. I.e., I wake up at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. And that's just what my genes say. How magical would it be if you could take a supplement that said, I'm going to balance out the catecholamines so that you can be less stressed? It's not exactly an SSRI, is it? It's not going to be a prescription drug, is it? You literally are balancing out the hormones and the neurotransmitters, the things that are bouncing around in your brain, the thoughts that are still running around. You can take supplements to actually help yourself metabolize them. That doesn't mean you forget them. What it means is that they're not floating around in your brain, and you can metabolize them, and you can lower your stress by acting on those things. Super cool stuff. Iron overload risk, that's something that I have to watch out for. Even in the structural, it talks about that I have a predisposition because of my Japanese heritage for osteoarthritis in the hands. You've seen lots of older Japanese people with their small hands and they hurt. Inflammation, this was something that I really wanted to get into, is the methylation. and how I am. This has actually solved a lot of the issue and a lot of the thought process for me. Here's my COMT, 72%. I need support to be able to make my brain metabolize the thoughts. Otherwise, they bounce around for days. That's why it takes me a couple days to de-stress after, honestly, the weekend sometimes not long enough on vacation. Who else takes 3 days before you wound down? Because you haven't had the stimulation, your brain hasn't got to catch up to push those catecholamines down. So you have to have 3 full days. What if you could do that overnight? What if each day you could start fresh? I'm not saying your stress is going to go away. How you deal with it is going to go away. And so you can metabolize the problems and the thoughts, and then you're doing the right things nutritionally to support you. How cool is this stuff, though? Here's the other piece of that pie, is that it talks about my methylation. Okay, I definitely have the MTHFR gene mutation, which means I don't break down folic acid, which means that I need folate, which means that if it's on bread, I can't have it. Fortified is not fortified for my guts, because what happens is that was my gluten intolerance. It was not gluten. It was actually that I couldn't have fortified grains. And if you look at even, I was looking yesterday, the Simply Baked, those pita chips that I love, they're so crunchy. They're fortified. They're organic, non-GMO, but they're fortified. So then they're sprayed with folic acid, and I can't metabolize folic acid, so my gut locked up. Sorry, it's not just about my gut, but what about yours? If we know that 44% of the population has that gene mutation and all of our food is sprayed with it, hey, we might have found something there. There are things, as long as it have to say enriched on it, flip it over on the back, it'll say enriched wheat flour. It means it's got folic acid on it. Any of that enriched, it sounds so good and healthy. It's not what you think. Enriched is a problem. Make sense to you here? Really cool information. And then just for this one right here, this one has, 6,347 different places in the research in PubMed that says I should be taking a decrease or a homocysteine supplementation to help metabolize homocysteine in my body. If you don't know what homocysteine is, it's like a cockleburr going through your blood vessels. So you think about a sandburr going through your blood vessels. Vitamin C is what actually makes it more pliable and more collagen, so it just creates inflammation through the blood vessels and scratches as it goes through, increasing the inflammation, swelling of the blood vessels. What happens after that? Blood pressure goes up, right? So maybe you're one of the people that your blood pressure automatically goes up, not because of the caffeine duration, but because of the homocysteine that's overloaded in your system. You see, what I know is that you're doing the right stuff, or you're trying to. But I got to say that, like, throwing the whole kitchen sink at it, shooting with a shotgun approach, that's not how I'm doing it these days. It's not how we have to do it. They did the human genomic test, or the human genome was completed in 2009. We're not that far away from 2009 as to what we're doing right now. This is brand new technology that people can actually find out what they should be supplementing for, so that you can live better based on the research and the data, not because it's hearsay or anecdotal. That's the way our chiropractic offices work. That's the way my vitamins want to work. So if you want to do the test, I'm the guy that's doing this out of our clinic system. So I'm the one that's gone through the classwork. Let's set a call up. Click the link below. Let us know that you've got it so we can expect to see that test results. And let's jump on a call and get you set up on the right vitamins, whether it's with this company or with a different company, the things that you should be taking based on your deficiencies, not just based on your desires and hopes. We don't work off of that. I hope that's powerful for you. If you are interested in coaching, click a link in below. There'll be a link there to book a call with me. Let's just jump on the phone and see if it works. One of the things that I've got my clients doing right now is they're onboarding. I want them to do the test.